And now, this is really interesting. Disney Plus series cannot be called a benchmark of quality, but we have heart-wrenching moments like Grogu and the WandaVision series. But there are also others that suddenly puts us to sleep, with the Book of Boba Fett and Miss Marvel. But here's the thing, The Mandalorian has always been a worthy representative of not the most popular streaming service. And the third episode of the third season is about to completely change everything we thought we knew about the future of the series. Why show us events on Coruscant? Did Dr. Pershing survive? And what is Bo-Katan planning? Oh, this journey promises to be very exciting, so sit back and get comfortable. And now, considering that the episode itself presents two completely different stories, let's talk about each one separately. Our first stop is with Mando, Grogu and Bo-Katan. The third episode starts with the same scene where we left off last time. However, there is a very curious conversation between Bo and Mando. The girl straightforwardly interrogates Dean about what happened in the life waters. What did he see there? For understandable reasons, our Mando didn't react promptly at the moment when he fell into the rift, and because of this, he missed all the interesting things. And as we noted in the previous video breakdown of the second episode, there was something important in those life waters, a living mythosaur, a symbol of the planet Mandalore, an opportunity to unite all the scattered clans and former allies of Bo-Katan. And in our past video, we speculated that Bo and Mando would join forces to go against the Mythosaur, and thus unite the Night Owls, the Children of the Watch, and other Mandalorians scattered throughout the galaxy. But it seems that this is not the case after all. The writers of the series are true geniuses, because they gave us a lot of hints that Bo-Katan is not angry at Dean and wishes him well, and maybe something could happen between these two. But never mind. Our Queen of the Mandalorians had something else in mind. Judging by Bo-Katan's interest in what Mando saw in the depth, she was covering her back in case Din Djarin managed to see the mythical beast. In that case, her plan would not fail, and Bo-Katan's plan exactly matches what we guessed last time: to wake the Mythosaur, defeat the creature, and automatically earn the respect and honor of all Mandalorians who had any connection to this planet. And now she even has her own people. Yes, they were there before, but as Bo-Katan herself put it, all the Night Owls and closest allies scattered. Now she, along with Mando, has been accepted by the Children of the Watch. They are numerous, they strictly follow the creed, and they honor the memory of the great Mandalorian who first killed the legendary Mythosaur. Bo-Katan noticed this in the final scene of the episode, and therefore, if she were to accomplish something similar, the Children of the Watch would immediately kneel before her, despite the fact that Din Djarin possesses the Darksaber. Thus, the storyline of the internal rift among the Mandalorians begins to develop particularly clearly. So expect a few more episodes of plot development and betrayal from Bo-Katan. But there was another storyline in this episode, which is the main one in the whole series. Initially, like many of you, we thought that after the destruction of Bo-Katan's home, the heroes would fly to Coruscant, since Dr. Pershing and his story were so persistently pushed upon us. But that didn't happen. Our heroes returned to the Children of the Watch, where we last saw them in the first episode of the third season. So why did we spend 90% of the episode watching events on Coruscant? This is a very good question. First, it is worth noting that the third episode finally confirmed the connection between Dr. Pershing and the cloning process. Why is this important? Well, apart from the fact that after the vague sequel trilogy, we have plenty of questions about how Palpatine returned and what happened to Snoke. It is known that Palpatine was grown from scratch in a test tube, that is, cloned, and there was also someone named Snoke who became a puppet in Palpatine's hands and spoke on his behalf. From the very first episode of The Mandalorian, we assumed that Moff Gideon was interested in Grogu not just because he was a valuable asset, but because he was a potential donor for midi-chlorians to create clones. He was looking for a certain goal, but we never understood what exactly. And most likely, Guido knew about the possibility of cloning Palpatine and used the naive and kind Dr. Pershing with his developments for this purpose. So the third episode gave us a great look at the process of rehabilitating former Imperials in the New Republic. In general, very little is known about this period of Star Wars history. If we judge solely by the film trilogy, it seems that immediately after the fall of the Empire, the First Order came, established no less strict rules and a fascist regime. After the overflow of Palpatine and, in general, the events of the Jedi's return, normal guys gradually began to build their legal state with the basics of democracy. Therefore, all the repentant Imperials were given a chance for a happy and normal life. And thanks to Jon Favreau for at least drawing attention to what happened to the Imperials who didn't want to go back to the dark side and preferred to stay in the New Republic. Dr. Pershing apparently was one of the rare good guys who found themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, he missed the Imperial cookies, but he didn't like their methods of control and the fascist regime. Therefore, he believed that his scientific developments on cloning could help the New Republic, and that is why he went on a mission to search for a mobile laboratory. And what an idiot he was to trust his partner. It is important to note that we ourselves initially believed in this short-haired lady, although we couldn't help but think that something was wrong with her. She was suspicious. And here is the catch, the lady really turned out to be on the side of the bad guys. But which ones exactly? There are two logical options for how events could unfold. First, she serves the New Republic, and realizing that Pershing's technology in the wrong hands will bring a lot of harm to the New World, decided to give up the dog and his laboratory, and at the same time fry the brains of the poor man, so that he definitely forgot everything he knew. Overall, even logical. But in this case, this whole big flashback was useless. It doesn't mean anything in such a scenario. Therefore, there is a second option. The traitor is working for a third party. She got the mobile laboratory, and Pershing's developments are sure to be somewhere in the database. And here is another thing we thought of. Since Dog is such a kind and sweet guy, he would never create Snoke, and especially would not help Palpatine return to life. But now, thanks to the mind freshener, Pershing could have gone crazy and switched to the dark side altogether. If you think about it, he won't forget all of his skills, and the treacherous lady can easily kick his memories by telling him what to do and for whom. Well, no, the main question is, where did you get the idea that the events on Coruscant are happening at the same time as the events where Bo-Katan and Mando are working together? According to recent information from the showrunner of the series, Grogu spent 2 years training with Luke Skywalker. It's strange that this wasn't mentioned in other sources. However, theoretically, after the finale of the second season, Dr. Pershing could be granted amnesty within a few months, after which the events of a couple of weeks from the first episode of the first season take place. And by the time of Bo-Katan and Din's redemption, Pershing has already been brainwashed for at least a year and a half. The series doesn't really focus on time jumps, but they do exist. So between the second and third season, some super evil could have appeared, preparing to attack and posing the greatest threat. And this is already concerns the plot arc of Grogu and his Jedi past and future. After completing his training with Luke, it's unclear what the writers plan to do with the little one. But now everything has slowly begun to come together and is being filled with details. Grogu was an important part of Pershing's research, and with the resumption of the program, the Imperials may need him again. And that's where the Children of the Watch and our familiar heroes come to the rescue. So why do you think we were shown Coruscant, and what happened to Pershing? In the Boba Fett book, the plot about Mando was a full continuation of his own series and ultimately led to the heroes uniting against a common threat on Tatooine. Thus, if we believe this already established tradition, Pershing and his partner will play an important role in the plot of The Mandalorian in the future, and we are very curious to see where all of this will lead. So, this was all for today, and remember, this is the way.